How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody is doing well.
Blessed.
Blessed. That is what I like to hear. Everybody's blessed. Very good. All right, let's get this going. Welcome. Let's go ahead and get this thing going. All right. We are discussing, let me make my screen big. We are discussing building a business from your desk. This is very good information. Hey, Carol, nice to see you in here. Renita, nice to see you. So we're doing this one, how to build a business from your desk, because this is going to break a lot of the traditional mold that a lot of people have about what it takes to build a business. Hey, Evelyn, happy Monday to you too. So let's get into this. I want to make sure all of my screens can be seen. All right, so building a business from your desk, how to maximize profit while doing less using the quick turn strategy. Did you guys realize that you actually can make more money by doing less? The more work you do, probably the less you're going to be able to make. And I'm going to prove it to you through this live training. I'm going to prove to you that by doing less, you actually can make more. And if you are getting up out of your chair, you're probably losing money, because that's not required to be successful with the real estate strategy that I'm going to lay out for you guys. So let's get into it. If we're ready to go, give me a big thumbs up if you're ready to get into this. And then in the chat, just let me know that everybody can see and hear everything. Okay. And then we will get going. All right. All right. There we go. Karen's coming on. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this call. So your process is costing you time and money. So if you are not familiar with, good, I'm glad everybody's ready to go. If you are not familiar with how to buy properties the way I'm about to show you, your process is more than likely wasting your time or costing you money. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things. The traditional process of finding sellers and viewing the property. The way 99% of investors go out and find property and they get into real estate is they do whatever way they do to find a seller. They find someone that's interested in selling their house, whether it's through a realtor, whether it's through off-market marketing, whether it's through connections with people. They find a seller. And then what typically happens is they talk to that seller, say, hey, or talk to the realtor, whoever it is, and say, okay, well, I'm interested in buying your property. What I want to do is come out and take a look at the property. And they come out, they take a look at it, they look around the property, see what kind of condition it's in, what it needs as far as work. They're not a contractor. Most of you are, unless somebody here is a contractor. Most of us are not contractors. So we're not really sure about how to set something up for us to what something's going to cost us. But we go out and do our best estimate of what we think it will cost. And then we finally, sometimes we make an offer to that person right there. Other times we say, let me go back to my office and figure out what the numbers are going to be. And then we finally make them an offer, and then they say, no, that's too low, or no, I don't want to do it. And we wasted all of that time doing all of that stuff, and we don't even have anything to show for it. We're back at square one. Okay, that's the traditional process. That's what most people do. And it's not that's wrong, but there's just a better way. The new process that people do is searching the internet and cold calling. So a lot of people do that. They go out and they do all kinds of website searches. They get on the internet, they cold call people, they skip trace and find that person's phone number, and they call them and say, hey, are you interested in selling your house? Are you interested in letting me put a deal on your property? That person may or may not say yes or whatever. If they get somebody that says yes, then they turn around and they start that whole process again. They go to the house and all that kind of stuff and just do the whole process again. What I'm suggesting is both of those waste time. They waste energy, and it leads to doubt, which if you're new to this, is one of the most dangerous things for you, that it will lead to doubt. Because when you don't know this process, when you don't know how to buy a property, the first thing that's going to happen is you're looking for some kind of validation. You're looking for something that says, okay, this works. I can do this. And the last thing you need is calling someone and then they slam the phone in your face and say, don't call me again. And how dare you? You almost feel like you're doing something wrong. And so we want to avoid that, because that's not the case. You're not doing anything wrong, but we have to get you into a place where you can have a win very quickly and very early. So we don't want you to do either one of these traditions, the traditional process or the new process. We don't want you to do either one of those starting off, because it's not going to help you. The solution is to eliminate every single step that you don't need to do. Every single step. Now, you might be thinking that there are some steps that I need. There are some steps that I just need to do to make a smart decision to buy a property, to make the right choice. I am going to challenge that. I am going to challenge your logic about what you need to do, because you really more than likely don't need to do it. And I'm going to break this process down in the next couple of slides to show you why you don't want to do it. And I'm going to challenge each one of you to tell me why you can't do it this way, because I've dealt with a lot of people that always question, well, I don't know if I should do it that way. I feel more comfortable going to see the property, but I want to break that down for you. So what does investing from your desk look like? Let's break that down. There are only 4 areas that matter about investing in real estate. If you can get these 4 areas together, you will have mastered a process to buy and sell real estate and make really good money, and you don't have to get discouraged doing any of them. The first one is finding profitable deals. You need a complete way to find profitable deals. Second is negotiating great deals and terms, negotiating the right price, negotiating the right terms for you to buy that property. The third thing you need is financing deals to buy the property. So you need to finance deals so that you can buy them. You need to get funding so you can purchase the properties. And the fourth thing is selling properties quickly for top dollar. We want to make as much money as we can in the shortest amount of time without focusing on any one property. We don't want to put our time and energy into falling in love with the property or anything like that. Does that make sense to everybody? So if you can do these 4 things, find deals, negotiate deals, finance deals, and then sell the deals quickly, you do not need to do anything else. And you definitely don't need to get up from your desk, and you can do all of this. Okay. All of this can be done at your desk. I want you to understand that. Okay. Finding profitable deals. Let's talk about that. How can we do that from our desk? First thing we're going to do is choose the best areas to market to. We're going to market to find deals. We can choose the best areas by going through and looking at some of the numbers in the area. We have a process for this. We run what's called an algorithm, and it's a very simple process of getting data or information about each area that we're interested in, and then we let the numbers tell us where we should invest. You, meaning every single one of you on this call that I'm talking to, are not the best person to choose where to market to. You don't know. I don't know. And then let me be clear. No one knows. The numbers know. Jay-Z has a line. I use this line all the time. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Stop relying on what you think or somebody told you a good area or something like that. None of that matters. The numbers are the only thing that matter with looking for an area. How many people, let me know in the chat if anybody has ever used numbers to figure out where they should buy property from, or do you just look for a deal? You don't care where it comes from. Do you look at numbers to figure out the area, or do you just go kind of fly by the seat of your pants and see what happens? Let me know in the chat which one you do. Identify people that are most likely to be good prospects. Once we know an area, we want to identify people that have what we want from property. So, Renita, you use numbers. That's great. That is a huge benefit to use numbers and identifying the right numbers to look at. So the next thing is to identify people that are most likely to be good prospects. Those are people that are more than likely going to want to sell, and they have what we want. We don't know if they want to sell, but we're going to assume that they might want to sell, and they have what we want, which is equity. I talk about this all the time. You want people that have equity and that have a lot of equity in their house. For those of you that aren't sure, equity is simply the money that the house is worth minus what the house is worth minus what they owe on the property. So if somebody has $100,000 house and they owe $10,000 on that house, then that house has about $90,000 in equity in it, if that makes sense. So that just means you've got equity. Next, we're going to use direct mail to as many good seller leads as possible. Once we've identified these people, we're going to direct mail to them. We can do all of that from our desk. We don't have to set anything up. We don't have to go out, write out a bunch of postcards or anything like that. We're going to do all of that stuff from our desk without ever leaving our computer, and we can set up the direct mail, make it go out to the people that we want it to, and wait for them to respond. Let sellers with equity and an interest in selling, which is what I call motivated equity, call you. So we're not going to be cold calling. We're not going to be waiting. We're not going to be sitting around doing nothing. We're going to let them call us, and then we're going to talk to them. The result of this is you won't get discouraged. You're new to this game, or maybe you've done it a while and you've had some success, or maybe you haven't. but you don't want to get discouraged, especially when you're trying something new, when you're trying a new way of doing things. You don't want to get discouraged. And this way, you're not cold calling. Everybody calling you is interested in talking to you, or else they would not have called. And so you're not going to get discouraged. And that's very important. Now, the next part is negotiating great deals and terms. You want to negotiate deals that make sense for you. When sellers call you, simply negotiate a price. Now, I know what you're thinking. I haven't seen the house yet. How do I know what to offer? How do I know what to get into with that seller? Because I don't know what that seller wants. But here's the simple thing. Get sellers to tell you what they want. That's very simple. Ask them questions that gets them to answer what they want. That gets them to tell you, this is what I want. That is the simplest way. Before you try to guess what they want or figure it out, just get sellers to tell you what they want. Next, you're going to negotiate a price without going to see the property. You don't need to see the property to negotiate a price. In fact, I would encourage you not to see the property, because you're going to make that offer based on what they tell you. So you're going to ask the seller questions, they're going to tell you information, and you're going to base your price off of the information that they give you. Now, I know that's a little bit scary for some of you, but it is the best way to do this, and you'll see why in just a second. Next, you're going to sign an agreement. The reason you sign an agreement is because that's getting rid of your competition. Let's look at it for a second. Seller calls you and they want to sell their house. You talk to them, you get them to talk to you about what they want and everything else. You make them an offer and the number works for them. They say, yeah, that number will work for me. And then you turn around and you have them sign an agreement. Now they're in a binding agreement with you to sell you their house. So you still haven't seen the house. You still don't know if they're lying. You don't know any of that stuff. But now you have a binding agreement. Are they going to call your competition? Are they going to reach back out to the next person that sent them some mail, or the realtor that calls them and says, hey, I want to sell their house? No. In fact, what they're going to do is they're going to tell anybody that reaches out to them, hey, I'm already selling my house. I've got a buyer, this, that, and the other. And you're going to eliminate your competition. So this is different from wholesaling, because typically with wholesaling, you're fumbling around, figuring out what to do, and they're steadily listening to other people give them offers so that they can say, so-and-so made me an offer and gave me this much. This takes that off the table, because you have an agreement with them right now at the beginning before you've ever seen the house. Do your due diligence through professionals after you have signed a deal. So after I've signed a deal, I'm going to then order professionals to come out and tell me the value of the property, the condition of the property, look over the property and make sure everything is okay. All of that I can order from my desk. I have not left my desk yet. I have not gotten off the phone. I've just talked to different people, but they're doing everything. Does that make sense to you? You're doing all of this without leaving your desk, and there's no reason for you to leave your desk. You've eliminated your competition. You verified the value. You've got to see what condition the property is in. You've done all of that without you leaving your desk. Now, the next thing is this results in no wasted time on non-deals. I talk to so many investors and they tell me how they started this one deal and they got this one property under contract and then it never formalized into a deal. That is discouraging. That will zap your energy. That will zap you feeling like you're actually getting something done. It just feels depressing. This way, you're not wasting any time. Think about it. In this scenario, if they don't agree to the purchase price, you move on. You go do something else. If they don't agree, if the due diligence comes back bad, then here's the thing. You'll say, well, what about if the house doesn't come back at the value that I thought it was, or they told me it was? Very simple. We're going to go back to them and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you told me the house was worth this much. I had my people come out and look at it. It's only worth this much. I can still buy the house, but I'm going to need to buy it at this price. That is such a mind shift for them, because instead of them looking at it like, oh, I don't have a deal, I'm not going to sell my house, they're looking at it like, can I work with this new number? And that is still keeping them out of competition's way. They've already turned your competition away, and that's allowing you to do the deal and just work on the numbers. I hope that makes sense to you guys, because that is a really fundamental mind shift that's going to make you a lot of money, just because it keeps them off the board of other people trying to make them an offer. So that's the second thing. Now, we've done all of this so far. We have not left our desk. Next is financing deals to buy. Use one financing source. We have one source that we use. No hard money points, no surprise terms on the deal, because they understand the strategy that we're using and they understand the type of deal we put together. The lender knows you and your deals will move faster. And all lenders are not created equal. I know there are people on this call that are saying, I know a lender, I've got some people, I'm in a network, I've got this, that, and the other. All of that is fine until you've done some deals with them, because what typically happens is people will promise you the world, and then when it's time to actually produce, then they start to say, oh, I got to change this term. Oh, I got to change that term. The lender that we're going to use is going to be the same lender for every deal, and it's going to be very easy and straightforward because they know what we're doing. Now, added benefit is the lender verifies our value. They're going to verify what we did. So they're going to make sure that we don't get a bad deal. The other thing is lenders like your strategy, making deals easier, which are going to make it easier for you. Third, lenders lower the cost as you do more deals. They're going to actually lower their cost as they do more deals with you. You can negotiate better terms with a strong track record. So you can get better terms on the timing and everything else. And lenders can give you access eventually to unsecured lines of credit that you can use to continue to grow. That is a huge benefit, that you'll have these lenders that will also give you unsecured lines of credit that you won't need very much, but you can use those for things like down payment. You can use those for things like repairs if there's something that you have to do, basically the city is requiring you to do. I hope that makes sense to you guys. So the last thing that we still don't need to leave our desk for, because we did the financing without leaving our desk, is selling the property quickly for top dollar. We want to make sure we can sell it for top dollar. You don't sell properties, you specifically, meaning you are not selling properties. That is not your job. That is not your role in this. You're going to leave it to professionals. You're going to get professionals. You don't buy with realtors, but you will use realtors to sell your property. Now, you'll think to yourself, why would I use a realtor? Why would I want to use a realtor? Realtors allow you to not need a buyer's list. If you've gone through any kind of training previously, they talk about getting a buyer's list. You need to network with investors, go to these different meetings. You don't need to do any of that stuff. Why would you limit yourself? You are a person. If you go out and meet 10 investors, that means you have 10 people that can potentially buy your house. Why would I limit myself to 10 people that could buy my house when I can list my property with a realtor and get hundreds of people, if not thousands of people, to buy my property? It would make sense that I would want those people to buy my property. I want most people to look at my property so I have the best chance of making the most money. The more people seeing your property for sale, the more buyers you will attract. I have investors that reach out to me all the time and say, hey, if you get any properties in this area, this is what I'm looking for. Why would I sell to you? I want everybody to see my property. I want sellers to compete for my deal, because that way I know yes, this is important. They will give you the most money. Think about it. There's an investor, there's a first-time home buyer, and there's somebody with a VA loan. And all three of those people are interested in your property. The investor wants the lowest price so he can turn a real profit. The home buyer wants the house that they want. That's all they care about, is the house that they want. So they're going to probably pay more than the investor because of the fact that they want to live there. They like the school system, all these other kind of things. The VA person has the easiest financing, or maybe they have where they don't have to pay taxes. So you might have a property that has a high tax bill, and they'll say, I don't care about that because as a VA buyer, I don't have to pay taxes on my property. And it's things with VA loans, but they don't have to pay property. Some VA buyers don't have to pay taxes, property taxes. So you want all of these people competing because you don't care who buys it. You just want the most money. And that's where people mess up. They try to do these buyers lists. They go network with investors. Only time I network with investors is when I'm talking to them about joining this group and learning our strategy, because I believe our strategy is superior to other strategies. The result is you spend your time doing more deals. You are not focusing on, how do I sell this property? How do I buy this property? Your time, meaning you, should be spent getting the best deals, getting the best and the most deals for yourself. Think about it. How great would your life change if you bought 3 properties in the next 30 to 60 days? If you bought 3 properties in the next 30 to 60 days, and then you turned around and sold all 3, or let's say you only sell 2. Let's say you only sold 2 of the properties, you have 1 left over. You sell that 1 in, let's say, 90 days, or it takes you a little bit longer. You're going to make more money hand over fist, and you've done very little work. All you've done is negotiate and set these pieces in place. That's the only thing you've had to do. So let's talk about what the real goal is. $1 million profit from your desk. What does that look like? You're going to have less moving pieces. The less moving pieces, the way I just described this, you did an entire transaction from your desk. There are less moving pieces, which means there's less likely to go wrong. There's less problems to have. This is laziness, because laziness can actually make you more successful, because you can use this by not leaving your desk to do more deals and make more money. Using one strategy instead of, I've talked to a lot of investors and they'll say, I've gotten training. Well, what's your training? What did you learn to do in real estate? Oh, I wholesale properties, I fix and flip properties, I rent properties out, and I'm buying land to develop land. Those are 4 different strategies. Each one of them has their own problems, because there's no strategy that doesn't have problems. You're doing all these strategies and you still haven't gotten one way to consistently buy and sell your properties and make money. Doing one strategy, there are only limited problems you're going to have. Working from your desk, you can do more with less. You don't have to do all of this running around. And let's say you're not good at networking. Why should you go out and try to network? Focus on the stuff that you're good at and just do that more. The other thing is, let professionals do a better job at the parts you don't need to. The way I just described this strategy, you had professionals at different points. They do some of the heavy lifting. You don't have to do it. They're less likely to make a mistake than you are, so you make more money. I hope this makes sense to you guys. So I hope this has been helpful. We do a lot of this and we teach a lot of people to do this process. If you're interested in learning this process and you want to close on a deal, you want to buy a property in the next 30 to 60 days, get on a DM with me, jump on a call. Let's talk about where you are, what you want to do, how you can do this. This is possible for every single person on this call. You do not have to have a great experience or a great knowledge in real estate. You can start from square one. I've got people in our program that have started at square one, and they are doing things where they're calculating numbers out. They're calculating where they're buying from. They're marketing. They're negotiating with sellers, and we show them how to do every single step. And we can do the same for you. We can also do a financing audit to see where you're at to get financing. And if you're not there yet, it's okay. We can show you how to get around what your problems are, or we can give you some resources to fix your problems. If you need credit resources and things like that, we can help you. And even if we can't help you directly, like I said, we have a lot of resources that we can share with you, especially if you're just starting out. So if you're interested, jump on a call with me, message me, Facebook message me. I'll be happy to talk to you, and I'll be happy to share this information with you. If you're just starting out, message me and I'll get you access to our paid content group. In our paid content group, we talk about all the stuff like strategies and marketing and negotiation tips, ask deal questions. All of this is stuff where you don't have the things to start your business, because we want you, this process, we want you to get that first deal. Once you get that first deal done, then you have some money. Now you have something to work with. If you have a little bit of money, if you have a little bit of credit and you want to grow and build something, make really good money, then get on a message call with me. I'll be happy to talk to you. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope it's been helpful to you. I hope you've learned something. If you have questions, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to answer. I'll stick on a couple of minutes and answer questions. Otherwise, I wish you the best. Happy Monday and happy hunting. Talk to you guys later.